Hey guys, before this video gets started, I wanted to say that this is a subscriber-decided election night between Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden in terms of the Democratic primaries. I've decided to combine all the dates, these are 2016's primary dates, into one video, and yeah, so it won't be like 7 p.m. poll closings, more like, March 24th, whatever the day is for certain primaries, and then going through that. The way I did this as well, since I did not have a system that would be perfect for this, because again, it's going to be very hard to gauge over 1,000 people's personal, percentages in terms of 50% for Bernie, 50% for Biden, or whatever margin they thought each individual state would be. I just decided to go with a winner-take-all version. Obviously, that's not what happens in the Democratic primaries, which is why I'm making a point of saying it. But for right now, we're just using a winner-take-all. Bernie wins in Iowa, he gets all of Iowa. Biden wins in Kentucky, he gets all of Kentucky. But in the future, I definitely will be making a lot more intricate videos, and I will also be focusing a little bit and making sure that you definitely know the percentages that each candidate gets. So yeah. Good evening. Welcome to the Democratic primaries 2020. Tonight we have the Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders running against former Vice President Joe Biden, who was Vice President under President Barack Obama. Let's start off with our first poll closings from February 1st from the state of Iowa. The state of Iowa is projected to go to Bernie Sanders as the first contest of the evening. The state of Iowa will go to Bernie Sanders. It is a caucus, not a primary. Bernie Sanders, the projected winner. Bernie Sanders now has 41 delegates compared to Joe Biden's 0. It is now time for the New Hampshire poll closings, and the state of New Hampshire will go to Senator Bernie Sanders. He won the state back in 2016, will go on to win the state again for this Democratic primary season. That gives an additional 24 delegates to Bernie Sanders to Joe Biden's 0. We now have our poll closings from the state of Nevada. It is February 20th. The state of Nevada will go to Joe Biden, picking up a number of delegates from the state of Nevada, a state that has a heavy Latino population. Biden now has 36 delegates to Bernie Sanders' 65. We now have the state of South Carolina's polls closed on February 27th. The state of South Carolina overwhelmingly goes to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner. Remember, Hillary Clinton won here back in 2016. Was a huge blowout for her, as it is a huge blowout for Joe Biden, giving him a total of 90 delegates to Bernie Sanders' 65. It is now March 1st. We have a number of primaries and caucuses up, including the Democrats abroad. All the states in yellow are states that currently have a primary contest today. The state of Georgia, Joe Biden is the projected winner. The state of Georgia, Joe Biden will carry the state of Georgia. The state of Texas, Joe Biden is the projected winner of the Democratic primary from the state of Texas, a huge win. Another big win from the state of Virginia. Joe Biden, the projected winner of the state of Virginia, has many delegates and is a very important state in the general election as well. However, this is a huge projection. Bernie Sanders will carry the state of California. The state of California will go to Bernie Sanders with over 400 delegates, the most populated state in the United States. Bernie Sanders, the projected winner. Joe Biden will carry the state of Tennessee. Volunteer states delegates will all go to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner. Joe Biden will also carry the state of Alabama. With its delegates, the state of Alabama overwhelmingly going to Joe Biden. The state of Massachusetts, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner. This is a state that was close back in 2016, but Hillary Clinton narrowly won. Bernie Sanders is now the projected winner in the state of Massachusetts. He will also overwhelmingly carry his home state of Vermont by over 90% of the vote. Bernie Sanders is the projected winner out of the state of Vermont. The state of Oklahoma, a state that Bernie Sanders did well in back in 2016, surprisingly going to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner from the state of Oklahoma. He is the projected winner here. Another state that Bernie Sanders is now winning in. The state of Minnesota, that is a state that is also crucial to the general election season. Bernie Sanders is the projected winner from the state of Minnesota, a state that I do not believe carried back in 2016. The state of Colorado, however, he did carry back in 2016. The state of Colorado will go to Bernie Sanders. Along with the Democrats abroad, their 13 delegates will all be awarded to Bernie Sanders. He is the projected winner. The Democrats abroad pretty much covers everyone who's not in the United States to vote in their respective state, usually containing military members. The Democrats abroad go to Bernie Sanders. Right now, Bernie Sanders now reclaiming the lead with 743 delegates to Joe Biden's 675. It is now March 5th, and we have the states of Louisiana, Kansas, and Nebraska poll closing. The state of Nebraska, Bernie Sanders, the projected winner as expected. Remember that this is a very, 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 very small state compared to the rest of them. So again, the delegate count here is not too important. If you're looking at the terms of a number of these states, Bernie Sanders definitely is winning in a number of smaller states, but keep in mind, not all of these states are equal. Some states will have more delegates, even though they may have less electoral votes. It really just depends on how the Democratic Party allocated, a delegate count here respecting to electoral votes. Again, the state of Kansas is a pretty small state. Even though it does have 6 electoral votes in the general election season, it does not have as much as another state that was more of a Democratic state with, again, 6 electoral votes. The state of Kansas, however, going to Bernie Sanders. The state of Louisiana going to Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the projected winner here. As expected, this is a southern state. Typically, these type of Democrats do well in the South. Looking at our current delegate numbers, we have 801 delegates for Bernie Sanders and 725 for Joe Biden. We now have our poll closings from the state of Maine. Bernie Sanders is the projected winner from the state of Maine. No real surprise here, adding to his numbers, giving him 825 delegates, over 100 over what Joe Biden has at 725. It is now March 8th, and we have poll closing from the states of Michigan and Mississippi. Michigan going to Bernie Sanders. He is the projected winner here. Again, a very crucial state to the general election. A state that is not too crucial for the general election. Joe Biden is the projected winner out of the state of Mississippi. He wins in this state. And adding to the total delegate numbers, 950 for Bernie Sanders and 761 for Joe Biden. There are now poll closings from the American Samoa. The American Samoa will go to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner here. Now on our current delegate number map, Bernie Sanders has 950 delegates to Joe Biden 767. It is now March 15th. We have a number of big states including the states of Ohio, North Carolina, and Florida. Illinois and Missouri also have a number of delegates there. The state of Florida, Joe Biden is the projected winner. This is a very large win for the Joe Biden campaign. This would be needed if Joe Biden is to have any real shot at the nomination. Joe Biden is the projected winner out of the state of Florida. He will also carry the state of North Carolina, another southern state now landing in the Biden column. Joe Biden, the projected winner. The state of Ohio, Joe Biden is also the projected winner, surprisingly, considering that many people did expect Bernie Sanders to win in this state. It seems that Joe Biden is now the projected winner. The state of Missouri as well. This is a 4th win for Joe Biden. He wins in the state of Missouri. He is a projected winner. However, out of the state of Illinois, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner, another big state to add to his column, adding to his delegate count, giving Bernie Sanders 1,105 delegates, and now Joe Biden taking the lead with 1,300 delegates. It is now time for our poll closings on March 22nd. The state of Idaho, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner. Again, a pretty small state, along with the state of Utah, another smaller state. Bernie Sanders is the projected winner from the state of Utah. He wins the Democratic primary here. In the state of Arizona, Joe Biden wins the primary here. State of Arizona, another Sun Belt type state that you can expect to possibly go to Joe Biden. He was not able to carry the state of California, but he will carry the state of Arizona. Joe Biden is the projected winner here. On our current delegate map, we have 1,367 delegates for Joe Biden, who is now leading to 1,154 for Bernie Sanders. It is now March 22nd. We have the states of Hawaii, Alaska, and Washington up, all of which will be going to one candidate in particular. The state of Alaska, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner. He will carry the state of Alaska. That is expected. Another progressive state, the state of Washington, Bernie Sanders, the projected winner to win here. He won here back in 2016. He also won the state of Hawaii back in 2016. Bernie Sanders, the projected winner from the state of Hawaii. He will carry that state. And on our current delegate map, we have 1,279 delegates for Bernie Sanders to 1,367 for Joe Biden. It is now April 5th. We have poll closings from the state of Wisconsin. The state of Wisconsin, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner. He will carry the state of Wisconsin as expected, which puts him very, very close to Joe Biden at 1,356 delegates, and Joe Biden's numbers have remained the same. It is now April 9th. The state of Wyoming will go to Bernie Sanders. The state of Wyoming add to Bernie Sanders' column. He has now surpassed Joe Biden at 1,369 delegates to Joe Biden's 1,367, a margin of 2. We now have poll closings from the state of New York, a very important state. The state of New York, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner. Hillary Clinton won this state back in 2016. It's interesting now it is going to Bernie Sanders. He will carry the state of New York, which puts him at 1,593 electoral votes, now 200 past Joe Biden, who is at 1,367. It is now April 26th. 2020, and we have a number of states coming in, including Joe Biden's home state. Both of them. The state of Pennsylvania, Joe Biden did not serve here. He was born in the state of Pennsylvania. He will carry the state of Pennsylvania, a huge win for the Biden campaign. The state he served as a senator from. The state of Delaware, Joe Biden, the projected winner overwhelmingly. The state of Maryland, Joe Biden, the projected winner from the state of Maryland. He is expected to win here. Progressives typically don't do too well in the state of Maryland. However, Bernie Sanders will carry the state of Rhode Island. He is the projected winner from this state and will also carry the state of Connecticut, a state that went to Hillary Clinton, I believe, back in 2016, now going to Bernie Sanders. On our current delegate map, Bernie Sanders maintains his lead with 1,663 delegates to Joe Biden's 1,616. It is now May 3rd, 2020, and we have the state of Indiana, which is now projected to go to Bernie Sanders. He is the projected winner from the state of Indiana, and again, that adds to Bernie Sanders' number, putting him at 1,733 delegates to Joe Biden's 1,616. We have our poll closings from the state of Guam, which is expected to go to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner from the state of Guam, and that adds to his numbers, giving him 1,622 delegates. It's now May 10th, and we have the state of West Virginia. The state of West Virginia, as expected, can go to Bernie Sanders. Bernie Sanders now expanding his lead with 1,757 delegates to Joe Biden's 1,622. We now have poll closings from the states of Oregon and Kentucky. Keep in mind that the state of Kentucky has, the state of Kentucky is now projected to go to Joe Biden. He is the projected winner. The state of Oregon is now projected to go to Bernie Sanders. He is the winner here. However, if you look at the electoral map, Bernie Sanders should not have gotten more delegates from the state of Oregon, considering it has 7 electoral votes to Kentucky's 8 electoral votes. However, they have flipped. The state of Kentucky has less delegates than the state of Oregon. Again, this is all coming back to how the Democratic Party allocates delegates compared to the electoral vote number, but that puts Bernie Sanders at 1,809 delegates to Joe Biden's 1,668. We have the U.S. Virgin Islands coming in for Joe Biden. Joe Biden is the projected winner from the U.S. Virgin Islands. He is the projected winner in this area. And the state of Arkansas, Joe Biden is the projected winner from the state of Arkansas. Again, another southern state to add to his column, which puts him at 1,705 delegates to Joe Biden's to Bernie Sanders' 1,809. It is June 5th, and Puerto Rico's numbers are now coming in. Joe Biden is the projected winner from the state of Puerto Rico. The interesting thing about these states is that they can vote in a primary, but they cannot vote in the general election, which is always an interesting point that is made in the argument for statehood for a number of these territories or commonwealths. But Bernie Sanders leads with 1,809 delegates to Joe Biden, now making up the margin at 1,756. We now have the remaining poll closings except for 2 areas of the country. June 7th, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, New Mexico, and New Jersey. The state of New Mexico, Bernie Sanders is the projected winner. He will win in the state of New Mexico. North Dakota going to Bernie Sanders. He is the projected winner from the state of North Dakota. As goes North Dakota, so does South Dakota, with, again, going to Bernie Sanders. And the state of Montana will go to Bernie Sanders. He is the projected winner. However, Joe Biden will carry the state of New Jersey. Joe Biden, the projected winner from the state, holding a number of delegates for him. Looking at our map, we have Bernie Sanders in the lead at 1,882 delegates to Joe Biden's 1,863. Very little separates the two candidates, with very little contest left in this primary race. It is now June 14th, and we have 2 calls to make. The District of Columbia, Joe Biden is the projected winner. He will carry the District of Columbia and the Northern Mariana Islands. Joe Biden is the projected winner from this area. Joe Biden will add that to his delegate count, which puts Bernie Sanders at 1,882 delegates to Joe Biden now in the lead at 1,886, a difference of 4 delegates nationwide. And we now have our super delegate numbers in, with 60% of the vote going to Joe Biden, giving him 459 delegates, with 40% of the vote going for Bernie Sanders at 305 delegates, finalizing our tally at 2,187 for Joe Biden and 2,187 for Bernie Sanders and 2,345 for Joe Biden. So again, this was a subscriber decided primary night. Again, those super delegate numbers I did come up with on my own because I think that's more realistic. I do apologize for making so many mistakes, calling electoral votes delegates instead of electoral votes, or vice versa, mainly vice versa. But yeah, it's just a little bit of a change coming from an electoral map, looking at a primary map. I'm going to try to do a different theme for future primary videos because I'm thinking about maybe a CNN or Fox News theme for those. But for right now, this is the 2008 MSNBC theme if you want to go back and look at it. But yeah, so thank you guys for watching this video. Comment down suggestions below, and I'll see you all tomorrow.